Fellas, how's it going? Ladies, how are you? All right, so today we are going to be starting a new series on the channel. Forever ago, I got this giant pack of samples from these amazing old drum machines from an awesome company called Samples from Mars. They got a lot of good stuff, and I have decided that I got the everything bundle. So I am gonna go through every single instrument and drum machine that they made, and I'm gonna make a beat out of every single one of them. And it all starts today with the 101 from Mars. This is gonna be a little bit different. I'm recording this kind of late at night. It's 11:32 p.m., so I gotta, keep things quiet. But we're still gonna have a real good time, I'm still gonna be as obnoxious as you remember me. So first, let's just jump into what the 101 actually is. Okay, Sample from Mars, all products. All right, y'all, I stumbled on something pretty crazy. Samples from Mars is apparently having the sale of the century. All the samples that they have ever made, they are currently selling for 97% off. Jesus Christ. So yeah, for 50 bucks, you can get like original actual TR-808 samples and Linn drum samples and MPC samples and 727 samples and blah, and it just never ends. So everybody should go to their website and buy that right now. Trust me, I use them a lot. They're really good. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is the 101. The 101 from Mars is only $5. Let's check it out. Punchy 80s bass synth with undeniable character. All right, let me get into character for this one. The 101 is a single oscillator monophonic analog synth developed in the early 80s. At 32 keys, it's quite small, doubling nicely as a guitar, and offering simple synthesis sliders, allowing for quick and easy sound design. All right, I'm already tired of doing the voice, so I'm just gonna skim through this. Spice simple architecture sounds quite punchy, aggressive, rubber. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I ran into. Can distinct acid. See, this is gonna come up a lot. This is a very acidy synth. Above all else, SH-101 is all about character. I would agree with that. It's a very, I'm gonna get into that in the end of sort of like what I think of the sounds, but it's definitely got its own distinctive thing. But here we go. In the end, although primarily described as a bass synth, the 101 is not just a bass synth. It's capable of screaming leads, abrasive analog drum hits, bubbly effects, and once sampled, beautiful stereo, chord stabs, and acid that'll burn a hole in your head. All right, well, I don't know about that as a positive. That sounds really painful. Is there a Wikipedia for the 101? I guess this was made between 82 and 86, became a staple of electronic music, 1990s, particularly house. That gets into all the acid stuff. Famous users: Aphex Twin, that's cool, The Prodigy, Skinny Puppy, and I don't recognize any of the rest of these. Never mind, Chemical Brothers and Boards of Canada. I know both of those bands. All right, so there you go. There's your little history lesson, all right? So yeah, super acidy synth, meant to be a bass synth. You can kind of manipulate it to do other things, which I definitely did with the samples that I got. And yeah, let's jump into the beat I made. So it all started with this Oscar preset, and I'm not going to be able to, name it anything other than the preset that they named it. So yeah, this is the Oscar synth, but it's kind of this soft, not really soft, it's pretty aggressive, but I don't know, it's just sort of like a twinkle, if that twinkle was like super distorted, and I use this kind of as the basis for the whole like rhythm of the song. So yeah, you can already hear this synth is really hits you in the face, I'm sure that the real one probably can, has even more punch to it. But yeah, then I had another one called The Logins, and this is the one that I used for the actual bass. So to start, basically, I kind of had like an A section and a B section, and in the A section, I just have like stabs with the bass, and then it stops, and then it comes back, and it's all the same note the whole time, and then I have an actual kind of like line that is like ascending when I get to the next section. So here's the first one. And here's the second one. And this is the cool thing with all these. They come as like Ableton racks. Obviously, they don't all have to be Ableton racks. You can use them in any DAW. Actually, let me show you that really fast. You can use these for a lot of different things. Here's the Ableton file where I have all the presets that I can use, etc., etc. But there's also just the waves of everything, and you can just, just random stuff there. There's a Contact version of it all, you know, etc. Here's the FL Studio one. But yeah, so I'm using this as an instrument rack in all these scenarios, except for the very top one, because I kind of like sampled itself. But all the rest of these is just MIDI. So you can see I got like some settings down here. You can play with the filter frequency, with the resonance, the attack. There's a delay on this one. That's the thing that's cool about all these different presets, is that a lot of it will be the same, especially because it's very acidy synth. So like obviously you're gonna play with your resonance, you're gonna play with your filter, etc. But there will also just be like random stuff that's very unique to each preset that makes it different. So it doesn't just feel like using the same preset with slight differences. They really all do feel different. And as far as processing, I really didn't do too much to this. I just added some low end with Love End by Analog Obsession. This is pretty much just like R-Bass if you have R-Bass, but it's free, and yeah, you should check out Analog Obsession. They're great. I shout them out every time I talk to anybody about music production. And then I just threw a saturated on it just to give it some kick. Okay, next up we got Sizzler's Boogie Buffet. I don't know if this is a tribute to actual Sizzlers. Here's a fun fact. I have never been to a Sizzlers in my life, and that is a streak that I intend to keep. So let's see, we got Echo Boy on this, very lightly there, quarter note triplet. Then I got Sketch Cassette because I have no self-control. Let's hear this one. I believe, yeah, this is kind of like the lead part of the first section. So yeah, now we're really starting to get into the acidy stuff. It's very, you know, a lot of resonance, a lot of, you know, it's just very aggressive. It's in your face. One thing that was cool about this preset is I think it's this boogie pitch thing down here. You can just automate in that little like wing, wing, wing. Sorry. Okay, moving on. So we have, I did not leave this in because it sounds terrible. We're just gonna leave that. I don't know why that's still here. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, and then when we get to this group, this is I think this is the only time in this whole beat where I layered the same part with two of different presets, and I think one might be an octave down. I take that back. One of them definitely is an octave down. I was just working on this like 2 days ago. I don't know why I forgot that. But here's both of them together. Okay, so it started with this Falling Sun preset. This is pretty simple. It's just the first line that I played because it was what came to my mind with this preset. Here it is alone. And then we got, is this also Falling Sun? Oh, okay, no. This is called Jazz Moine. I don't know what the hell that means. But yeah, this is an octave down, and yeah, here's what it sounds like. And tried and true, they never get old. We got Sketch Cassette on here. That's just the default preset. I just gave it some, I just wore it down, I guess you could say. And then Echo Boy. This just gets automated for in between the first one and the second one. It doesn't play after the second one, so. Okay, before we get into the B section, I just want to go over these samples down here, because this is the other cool thing about all these samples from Mars Things is, like I showed you, they have just like waves of random samples that they took themselves. And I used them just as one shots, and it was pretty damn cool. Here's the first one. It's cool. It just sounds like an alarm clock next to you. That's the first thing I think of when I'm thinking of making like kind of like a TV on the radio sort of beat. Is that I want a fucking alarm clock next to me. Okay, and then these just one shot. These are just like crashes, kind of. Okay, moving on to the B section. You already heard the bass from there. I am gonna come down to this one right here. This is called Hold and Sample. So this sounds insane. It's literally, as you can see, I just held this down the entire time because when they say hold and sample, it's exactly what you would think it is. It's just this crazy, like, super chaotic, glitchy thing that comes from the synth, and you just hold it, and there you go. I just used it as a background texture. So here it is. And then the only thing I put on that was just the Tau chorus, just because I wanted to widen it up a little bit, and I don't know. It's, even though it's only one synth, it still kind of felt like it needed to be glued together a little bit more. So I did the chorus for that reason as well. So this one here, Bird Music, was a fun one because I got going with my MIDI controller. This thing's a piece of shit, by the way. I basically was just messing with the pitch wheel with this. So I was like hitting... Sorry. Anyway, I would hit this a bunch and I would just do the pitch wheel as I was doing it, and it came with this thing that kind of sounds almost like its own sample, and I think it sounds pretty cool. So here is the Bird Music preset. So you can kind of like make a riser out of it just when using the pitch wheel, you know? We got some more one-shots here. This is literally just... I don't know why I have these on the same track, but whatever. It's just two different one-shots that are both kind of supposed to be crashes. So yeah, there you go. And then finally, as part of the B section, I think I might have just taken this first crash, or maybe it was another one-shot or something like that. But I... took Echo Boy. I do this a lot. I think this is one of the coolest things in the world, where I put the feedback up really high on a delay, and then I record, or I guess resample in Ableton, that delay on its own, and I use it as a percussive element because I think feedback loops just sound really friggin' cool. So here's that. And in this case, it actually worked out really well. It just came back up right where I needed it to, and then I used it to kind of like strengthen the outro or whatever. It worked out great, in my opinion. And then before we get into the drums, which is pretty simple, and this little television crowd thing, those are the only two parts of this that are not from the 101. Lastly here, we got just another kind of crash sort of thing, but it's just drenched in reverb. Okay, maybe it's not drenched in reverb. I guess maybe it just has some reverb on it. Okay, so then we got the drums. This is actually pretty simple. It's just a break beat, but I beefed it up a lot with this Blend EQ. So this is super sick. This is another Analog Obsession plugin. Again, go pay to that guy's Patreon and get all of his plugins. He's so good. So the whole point of this is that it's a blend between like a Neve EQ and an API EQ. And with this little blend thing here, you can decide whether you want it to sound more like an API EQ or more like a Neve EQ. I left them all at 50 because I don't know what all my plugins do, and I didn't know that that was what the blend thing did until after I finished this beat. I am a fucking idiot. And like I do with a lot of my drums, I have an Echo Boy that's automated to turn on and off at random times just to give some random texture at random times. So here's the drums. And then finally we got this television crowd. This, I literally just typed in crowd in my Ableton search thing, and this sample came up, and I thought it sounded good. So I high-passed the hell out of it and just put it down kind of low. I didn't even put it into the sentence that I have, which I normally have to do to make it fit. But I don't know, I guess maybe this just felt fine to me. Or maybe I just forgot. To be honest, that's probably what I did, because I am a fucking idiot. Okay, so that's the end of the breakdown of all of the, you know, individual parts. But one thing I wanted to talk about is that the thing that I think makes this beat cool, or at least cooler, is the fact that I put beat repeat on the whole thing. So I resampled everything out into its own track, put beat repeat on that, and then just automated it at random time. This is my first time ever using beat repeat, so believe me, this could be better. I think some of the like places I chose are better than others, but you know, well, I'll get better. But yeah, dude, beat repeat's super cool. I don't have an MPC or anything. I would like to someday, but I just, that idea of just like, oh cool, I just like clicked a button and then I just like everything went for like 30-second notes, or even just like eighth notes or something like that. I've always thought that was a super cool sound, so as you can see, a lot of this is automated. And then I put Soothe on it just to kind of like tame it a little bit. So yeah, that's how I made this beat with the 101 from Mars based on the SH-101 synthesizer. I think this is a cool synth. I guess if I were to say what you would use this for, number one, acid. So yeah, like if you're into any 90s house stuff or if you just like that super aggressive sound, this really, like, I would really recommend going to get this. It's like $5 and it's exactly what you're looking for. On the other side of it, one thing that I thought I could do with it is kind of what I ended up doing with this, which in my mind, this is kind of TV on the radio-ish to me in parts. And I mean, that's maybe giving myself too much of a compliment because I like TV on the radio a lot. But I think you could kind of do that sort of like dark break beat with, just like weird sounds and stuff. You might even be able to pull off some kind of like Run the Jewels-y sort of thing with this. But also, one thing I noticed when I was going through the waves of all of these like random samples is that it's just so noisy. And I don't say that in a bad way. I mean, it's a lot of character to that. But yeah, it is super noisy. And like, I don't know, you may even be able to do some kind of like indie rock stuff, like metric kind of stuff. Just like really like loud, blaring kind of things. I don't know. But those are the things that jump out to me of like what you could do if you were to buy this. So that's how I made this beat. I would say, let me know if you want me to make more of these, but I'm going to make more of them. This is just like a nice project for me, because I really am tired of having all of these plugins and samples I bought and just not knowing what any of them are. And this was very fun for me to like spend a lot of time essentially with this instrument that I bought. Like, I know it's just a bunch of Ableton racks, but like essentially that's what it is. It's as if I bought a new synth and I just spent a day making something with this synth. And honestly, I would encourage other people to do that too, whether it's just, even if it's just like effects plugins. Like if you bought the Sound Toys bundle, just spend a day and like, just do something with Decapitator. You know what I mean? Just like learn everything that Decapitator does. Okay, I'm done preaching. I'm gonna play the whole beat now. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Christmas is coming up, Hanukkah's coming up, Kwanzaa's coming up, New Year's is coming up. I hope we all are having a good end of this year. I hope we all have a good start to the next one. Fellas, I will catch you in the next one, and say something nice to the ladies on the way out.